Hello and welcome. This is Namir, and the seventh of these talks about the human being, mental yoga, using the mind to investigate life, to live an authentic life based on truth. So far, if you followed the video so far, we have investigated and found out that um, what we believe is the actual case, or how things appear to be, is not supported by science, and that a human being is something different in its actual essence than what we experience from the senses, which includes our body and also includes our mind. Now, here we get to that part called the self, or the witness in Buddhism. You know, how is it that we see and know everything, and what can we know about ourselves as the knower of everything? So apart from the kind of analysis, to understand what it means to be a human being, uh, we need to go to meditation, which is to kind of look inwards. So everything in this world there's a kind of light which illuminates the whole world, and we see that it's not out there, the light of the world, it's in here. Sunlight is in your mind, and it is your mind. This is one important point, that if the sun itself, as we look, does not actually shine, no, in other words, the experience of light that we have is not out there in the world, it's in our mind, in the same way as you can dream light, or people who do meditate can have experiences of a tremendously bright light whilst they're sitting in complete darkness. So the light of this world is imagination. Not only the light of this world, but the sound of this world, the smell of this world, the taste of this world, the touch of this world. In fact, the whole, what we call reality, is imagination. And this is where we can get drugs that can alter this experience, because it is in our mind. When you take a drug, it doesn't change the tree that you think is outside there. You don't give it to the tree and the tree changes. You take it and all your perceptions change, because it interferes with that mechanism somehow by which we create reality in our minds. And dreams are the same way. Now here there is one very important point. Having, as it were, discovered that the world is what we call, it seems to be an illusion. In other words, the idea that we live in this materialist world with a kind of inert dead space separating physical bodies which have properties in themselves, that and other living bodies, and separated by space. This is my body, that's your body. Everything is separated into little bits. The truth is, the whole thing is occurring in us as a dream, like a dream. Modern science would actually, physicists would say, well, that's pretty close to what they've discovered. So, this is also the materialist view, but it's not materialism in the sense of what most people think or believe in the world is. Now, if everything is occurring in a dream, a mind dream, imagination, that includes your body. And it includes the other person. And it includes the tree. And it includes the planet. And it includes all the animals. And it includes... So whatever you do harm to another, you do harm to yourself. Whenever you do good to another, you do good to yourself in exactly the same way that if you get involved in doing harm in a dream of yours, when you wake up, you say, what did that mean? Who was that person? What was the message? Everything in your dream is you. Not when you're dreaming, when you wake up. So what we're trying to do is this process of waking up to realize everything in this world is us. So it's in discovering that it's all in us, we are everything. Right? We imagine everything, so everything is us. And this is a radically different view to what most people carry around in their minds. And it is a radically more positive view and more liberating view. Of course, you have responsibilities, but you have much more power and you are much more immune from the effects of the world. The dream is being dreamt, but if you know it's a dream, there's a big difference in terms of how you move and how you act and how you relate to that dream we call life. What Einstein calls the persistent illusion of reality. So, on the one hand, if everything is my imagination, then I am everything. That's just it. That's just how it is. But then you say, yes, but who is the dreamer, the subject? Can I have an experience of that which is actually dreaming? And in order to do that, you need to go usually into meditation. And meditation, yogic meditation, is to still thought and to pull in from the senses in order, as it were, to close down the show. Now here a very interesting metaphor can be useful. You imagine we are watching a television, one of those older televisions that had a glass screen. And you're always watching that television. It is again Plato's cave. You're always watching that television. And you're so engrossed in it, you're totally unaware of yourself. Children get into this state quite easily. They forget where they are. They're completely involved in what they're watching. And then suddenly the television goes blank. It's switched off. The show is turned off. Then the screen, instead of throwing to you an image for your entertainment, reflects back your own face to you. And you realize your real existence as the observer, the spectator, the witness, in a completely different dimension to everything that is occurring on the screen. A different reality. But that only happens when the screen is switched off and you're suddenly you realize. So, and that realization doesn't come through thinking about it. It just occurs. Now that's a metaphor which has its limits. The other one, of course, is the dream. You wake up in the dreaming, you realize, oh, I'm dreaming this, so I'm dreaming my body, I'm dreaming the tree, I'm dreaming the birds, because it's all part of my dream. But if I'm dreaming my body, then what is the real me? So it's the consciousness. But if you want to somewhat back up into the real you have to stop the consciousness also. What you find there, that in the normal way of knowing things, you are mysterious. It is like something, your personality, your mind, your thoughts are illuminated by something, otherwise you won't be able to see them, right? And that illumination is the light that makes things knowable. It is the light of knowing. And you, as an idea of yourself, cannot back up any further than that, because you disappear into just pure knowledge. But that is the purpose of meditation, to come to reality, because again, the dimension of reality that the observer exists in is more real than that which it observes or it creates in its own mind. So the creator of the dreamer, is more real than the dream. Now, my way of looking at this is that we are all, or there is a being asleep in paradise, dreaming the whole world, and that being dreams each one of us, and it comes as far as a certain point in us, and then it dreams the world. So your true state is a condition of absolute perfection and absolute safety and absolute freedom from whatever's going on in the dream. If the dreamer knows, it wakes up and knows its real condition as the dreamer. This is the purpose of all this, working through stuff, is to get to understand who we really are. Now, many words are given to that in yoga. The witness or the seer, it's called the seer, the one that sees. Now I'll just pick up a little bit on the yoga. The very first aphorism of yoga is that here now is the teaching of yoga. It's happening right here, right now. The second aphorism of yoga, this is the classic text on yoga. So yoga is the stilling of thought, or the stilling of mind, or the suppression of thought. The third aphorism is that in that condition of the stilling of thought, the seer abides in its true nature. And you are the seer, so you recognize your true nature. You are, your true nature is revealed to yourself. And the fourth aphorism is that in the absence of the state of the yoga, the seer confuses itself with thought or the movement of mind and imagination. So we're getting right to the goal of yoga, which is a state of freedom. And it shouldn't be understood as being isolated from the world. It is being understood as being the world, and yet something rather more, rather beyond. And this is your everyday condition. This is the you that you can't imagine not being. So it's not your body which is changing all the time. It's not your mind which is even changing more all the time. Body is just the food that you've taken in that comes from, and you create a body. In this case, also a dream body. It's not your mind which is your dream commentary on the dream. It is the one who is dreaming, the knower. Because everything else can change, but one thing always remains, and that is the one that knows. So, and this is where yoga goes a bit more, in my mind, complete, in that you can say, well, everything changes and that's the only truth. But there's always a knower who knows that everything changes. There's always a knower who knows that you exist. You know, that means you are knowing. A human being is something that knows. So I'm trying my way to explain, what yoga is meaning to me, means to me, why it's important, why it can give you great security in the world, why it is based on science, real science, why it is based on true humanity, how it can be a soothing balm for the world in fear, and how it can bring an end to the disastrous misconceptions we have about who we are as human beings that we suffer from and have suffered for thousands of years. Thank you. This is Namir, and I hope to see you for the next video.